The holidays are the single best time to boost your sales on Amazon. But did you know the increased amount of customers out there searching around will impact your Amazon ad performance? In this video, I'll show you exactly how the holidays affect your ads, what you can expect, and what I've seen so far this year. Hey everyone, I'm Craig and welcome back to Self-Publishing Empire. If you're new to the channel, I self-publish books over on Amazon KDP and I've just hit $100,000 in royalties over the past few years from just creating and selling books over on Amazon. One thing that I've learned during my time self-publishing is that advertising is incredibly important. Without ads, you're basically chucking a book out there and hoping that magically it's found. Whereas when you use advertising, especially in the first few months of your book being out there, you're basically putting your book in front of people. You're basically telling them, hey, you're looking for something that's like my book, here you go. And that's why I utilize advertising. And if you're running ads yourself, you're going to notice that in November and especially into December, you're going to see an increased amount of impressions, maybe more clicks, maybe more sales, maybe higher ad spend. And if you're new to Amazon ads, I'm going to walk you through what you can expect. However, if you're an experienced self-publisher, I'm also going to give you a few tips and tricks that can help maximize your ad performance this year. So we're into December and that means there's more people searching around on Amazon. Most people are going to be looking for gifts, whether it's for friends, family, Secret Santa, or even themselves. I'm not here to judge. But what it does mean is that your books are going to be in front of more potential buyers. This means that if you're running ads and they're currently serving, that you're likely to see a big jump in terms of the amount of impressions. So this is great for visibility, right? This means more people are seeing your book. But that also can mean that more people are clicking on your book, which means that you're going to be spending more money on your ads. So what we want to be doing here is we want to make sure that our click-through rate is good so that when people are seeing our book, they're then clicking on it because it looks interesting to them. It looks like something they want to be buying. And so this is called the CTR, which is the click-through rate. The ways that we can maximize our click-through rate on Amazon is mainly through our front covers. So those front covers you see when you're searching on Amazon, if you're searching for a certain type of book, a certain type of gifts, that thumbnail view that you see for any product on Amazon, that's what's going to initially grab a customer's attention. And with books, it's the front cover. And so you want to make sure that that front cover is as strong as possible, make sure that all the text and those kind of things are readable on the thumbnail view, and also that it stands out, that it's engaging, that it makes people want to click it. Because you've got all these potential customers looking for a gift, looking for a new book. So you want your book to be as strong as possible, especially in December when you've got more people looking for your kind of product. And so here, for example, I'm just looking at a hockey gift for kids. And you can see here that you've got a lot of books ranking at the top. What people will be looking for is they'll be looking at how good the front cover looks, and then they're also going to be looking at things like the title and the reviews. But then with giftable products, you're not only necessarily competing with books, you're also competing with toys, gifts, all those kind of things. And books are really, really good at standing out against this kind of content because they've got a really lovely title on there, they've got a designed cover, whereas a lot of these other products are generally just a picture of the product. So there's every chance of standing out for something like this. So this book here is not just ranking for hockey book for kids, it's also ranking for hockey gift for kids. And so you're not just targeting book lovers, you're also targeting that giftable niche as well, which is really important when it comes to Christmas and holiday shopping. So as long as you're happy with your book and you're happy with your front cover, you're going to be seeing a lot more clicks in the holiday period. What that means is an increased spend. So you want to make sure that your ad's optimized so you're getting a good return on your ad spend. But enough talk, let me show you. This is my ad spend across the lifetime of my advertising account over on Amazon, and what you can see here are these big spikes in November and December of last year. You're then seeing the exact same thing this year because of that increased demand that we were just talking about. And what you can see here is you've got some different coloured lines. So the purple line is the spend, the green line is the clicks, the pink line are the orders, and then that light blue line is the ACOS. So generally, the lower the ACOS, the more profitable your ads are. And so what you generally want with your ads are a high amount of clicks, a high amount of orders, and a low ACOS. That's going to mean you're selling a lot of books without spending too much money. And so as you can see here, last year, if we come into October, I had 1,814 clicks and spent $400. And the ACOS here was 16.75%. So that was pretty steady across the whole year up until that point. And then when we come into November, we can see that the spend increased up to $592, but the ACOS reduced there down to 13%. So what I was doing there is I was adjusting my bids, reducing them down a little bit because of the increased demand. I knew there was more people looking, I knew I was going to get more clicks, and so I dialed my bids back just ever so slightly so that my cost per click was a little bit cheaper, and also because of the demand of the customers, because they're actually actively shopping for those kind of books, they're more likely to convert into purchases. And that was similar into December as well. So December spend rocketed up to $1,455, but I got over 1,000 orders at a 14.21% ACOS. So if you don't do anything to your ads, if you just leave them running over November and December, you can see how they can increase in spend quite dramatically. I went up from spending $400 in October to spending $1,400 in December. And we're seeing similar this year as well. So I've started dramatically increasing my ad spend this year, but in October of this year, I spent $1,187. And in November, I've spent $2,252. But what you can see there is that advertising cost of sale again is starting to come down a little bit, as the idea is people are more likely to convert in November and December. So the first thing to say is if you're seeing your spend drastically increase like I just showed you, don't panic. But what I am going to show you is when you should keep your ads going, when you should optimize them a little bit, and maybe when you should consider turning them off. Because what you don't want to be doing is you don't want to be running unprofitable ads during November and December, because you're going to spend a lot of money on those ads. But what you want to be doing is you want to double down almost on your ones that are running profitably. So here's one ad that I've been running the whole of this year. So I've achieved a little over 4,500 clicks and 492 orders at a 12.75 ACOS, which is really, really good. And you can see there from October to November that my spend and my orders have started going down while my ACOS has started to come down a little bit, which is generally what you want to be seeing. So this is an example of an ad that's running incredibly well. And if I don't touch this, it's likely to keep increasing the spend, but also increasing the amount of orders that I'm going to be getting into December. So what I could do on this is I could click into the campaign and look at the targeting tab. And so what you want to be doing on the targeting, so this is a product ad. It'll also look very similar if you're looking at keywords, is down here on the right hand side you have your ACOS. And so what you want to know is you want to know what your break-even ACOS is. This might be somewhere between, say, 10 and 30%. So for this book, I think it's 20%. So that means anything below 20% ACOS, I'm getting a positive return on my ad spend. What I'd want to do here is look at the ones with the low ACOS and make sure that those ads are serving properly. So what you can see here is that my top of search impression share is below 5%. So if I wanted to be a little bit more aggressive with these ads, I could bump them up by 1 or 2 cents to try and get some more impressions. But what I would do is I would do those on the ads that have a very low ACOS. So this ACOS here, for example, is under 10% and I'm only bidding 10 cents. So I'm going to increase that to 12 cents to hope to get more impressions and more orders during the December period. And the same with this one below. I'm going to bump that up to 11 cents from 7 cents to try and get some more impressions. Then on the flip side, if you find some ads that have a high ACOS, you could reduce those cost per clicks down to try and bring that ACOS down. So this one has spent $5.29, got 2 orders at 29% ACOS. So that's not break even for me. And so what I could do is I could reduce that bid down by a couple of cents. And then what's either going to happen is that's going to stop serving or not serve quite so well, or it's going to continue serving but at a lower bid. And so that will bring that ACOS down. And then here we're just going to look at a final example of when you should probably look to turn an ad off. So you don't necessarily have to turn the whole ad off, but what you can do is you can come into the targeting section and you can see what's working and what's not working. So for this book, the top result here has got 586 clicks, 43 orders at 23.28% ACOS, so that's running okay. But these two below are running at a 232% ACOS and 125% ACOS. So they are very, very unprofitable for me. So what I did is, before I got into November, I came into this ad and turned them off. I had previously tried reducing the cost per click down on these, but the ACOS was just far too high. So the best thing to do is, if you've got an ad like that, is just try and reduce the bids down if the ACOS is a little bit high, or if it's drastically high like this, you might want to consider turning that ad or that targeting off. And that's because December has a huge opportunity to return you a load of orders. And what you want to be doing is you want to be spending your money where the ads are performing best. And what you don't want to be doing, which I've done in the past, is you don't want to be spending too much money on an ad that's not fully optimized, because you're probably going to be spending more money than you're getting back in royalties. So you want to be doubling down on the ads that are performing well and scaling back on the ads that aren't performing quite so well. One final thing to mention as well is what you're probably going to see is an increased conversion rate. So if you've got ads that are performing at, say, just about your break-even ACOS, there's every chance that that's going to improve over December. So let's take a look back at my data from last year. So we take my October data, which was 1,814 clicks, and divide that by 225 orders. I was getting an order every 8 clicks. So that's pretty good going, right? That's a pretty good conversion rate. 1 in 8 clicks led to a sale. But if we compare that to December's data, we had 6,703 clicks and we had 1,091 orders. We can see there that my conversion rate was a sale in every 6.14 clicks. So that's a dramatic increase in the conversion rate. Likely because I optimized some ads, but also because of the increased purchase rate of customers in December. They're a bit more actively looking for something that they want to buy for a gift, and from what I've experienced, they're more likely to convert. So that's why December is probably the most powerful time of the year to be running Amazon ads. So what I would say is, make sure you're running your ads, make sure you're optimizing them, and make sure you're focusing on the ones that are going to convert better for you during December. Because when it comes to Amazon KDP, it is the most wonderful time of year. Happy holidays, everyone. I hope December treats you really well and that you have a wonderful Amazon KDP boost over the holidays.